Let me tell you a story from a night shift back in 2021 that still sends a chill down my spine. I was working at a nursing home, one of those places tucked away on the outskirts of the city. It was so isolated that its backyard was literally a cemetery for the residents who had passed on. Rows of tombstones just beyond the windows. We had this one resident, a lady in her late 90s. Snow-white hair, a hunched back, but she could still get around with her cane. And she was difficult. Almost every night, it was the same routine. She'd press her call buzzer over and over, screaming at the top of her lungs, "Help! I need help! Somebody, anybody, help!" It was always for nothing, just a way to get attention. But this particular night was different. It was dark, the wind was howling, and the trees were scratching against the building. The kind of night that puts you on edge. Strangely, the old lady was quiet. We were all in the dining area, enjoying the rare moment of peace. Until around 3 a.m., faintly, carried on the wind, we heard it. "Help! I need help! Somebody, anybody, help!" We all looked at each other. It sounded distant, almost like an echo. We waited, thinking she'd just fall back asleep like she usually did. The wind would roar and her voice would disappear. Then it would come back, a little louder each time. It was unnerving. The pattern was the same, but the source seemed off. After a few minutes of this, her voice started getting louder and louder, second by second. It wasn't coming from her room anymore. It sounded like it was coming from outside. I finally stood up to go check on her. As I walked towards the main hallway, I glanced at the large glass entrance doors, and my heart stopped. Out in the darkness, standing right in the middle of the tombstones, I saw a figure, a human figure. "Holy cow! Guys, are you seeing this?" I yelled. My colleagues rushed over, and there she was, the old lady, standing in the graveyard, in her long white nightgown. The wind was whipping her white hair around her face, and the moonlight was glinting off the tombstones behind her. It was a scene straight out of a horror movie. Then she started walking, slowly, deliberately, towards the front door. Two of my female colleagues screamed and ran, locking themselves in the staff room. The rest of us just stood there, frozen, watching this ghostly figure get closer and closer. I told the remaining staff member, "Keep the door locked, whatever you do. I'm going to check her room." I ran down the hallway, my heart pounding in my chest. I got to her room, flung the door open, and the bed was empty. Perfectly made, but empty. I checked her window, locked from the inside. I checked all the facility's exit doors. They were all locked, the alarms all armed and active. There was no way anyone could have gotten out. I hurried back to the entrance, my mind racing. How was this possible? As I approached, my colleagues didn't hear me coming. Their eyes were glued to the glass. The old lady was right there, just on the other side of the door. She wasn't banging or shouting anymore. She was just standing there, silent, staring at them without blinking. I shouted, "Open the door!" They jumped and screamed again, thinking I was still down the hall. They almost took off, so I had to plead with them to stay. But when I told them to let her in, they refused. Flat out. "No way," one of them whispered. "That's not her." I had to do it myself. I took a deep breath, unlocked the door, and pulled it open. She walked in slowly, her cane tapping on the floor. She looked at each of us, one by one, with a blank expression, as if wondering what all the drama was about. I finally found my voice. How did you get out?" She just looked at me for what felt like a full minute. Then, without a word, she turned and started walking slowly towards her bedroom, her cane tapping a steady rhythm on the floor. And as she walked away, she started her chant again, but this time it was quiet, almost a whisper. "Help! I need help. Somebody, anybody help." As she passed me, I reached out and touched her shoulder. I had to. I needed to know she was real, that she was solid. Her gown was cold and damp from the wind. It was her. I escorted her back to her room, helped her into bed. And just like that, She laid down and fell fast asleep. The whole building was covered by security cameras, of course. But after what we'd just been through, none of us had the courage to look at the footage that night. We just wanted the shift to end. When I came in for my next night shift, my manager pulled me aside. "You need to see this," she said. She played the recording. It turned out, one of the day staff had left in a hurry and hadn't pulled the main exit door shut properly. It hadn't latched. For this frail old woman, it was an easy pull. She had simply walked out. Knowing the logical explanation doesn't make it any less terrifying to remember. The image of her standing among the tombstones, with the wind and the moonlight. It's burned into my memory. Every year when Halloween rolls around, I feel my body go cold just thinking about it. Thanks for listening to my story. If you have any creepy work stories of your own, I'd love to read them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more. Stay safe out there.